there's one, there's one. He's got it, son. We're talking about big wintertime trout here. I got one, yes sir, son. Okay, another trout. Oh, there's one, yes sir, son. Cold front, here we are.
He is the current record holder with 9 BASS Angler of the Year awards, has 19 BASS tournament wins, and qualified for the Bassmasters Classic 25 times.
Today we're fishing Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, nestled in the Mississippi River Delta, some million square acres of water. Now, Plaquemines Parish is over 100 miles long, stretching from New Orleans all the way down to the Southwest Pass. 2/3 of the parish is water and 1/3 land, with the hundreds of tributaries pumping fresh water from the Mississippi River into the thousands of miles of oil industry canals and the hundreds of freshwater lakes and marshes. It's a cold winter day here in Plaquemines Parish. Air temperature is about 40-something degrees. Water temperature is like 50 degrees, but guess what, folks? That's the time the big trout bite. And I got one on right now, speckled trout on a jig. Let's see what we have. Oh yeah, nice trout. That's a nice trout. Okay, that is the deal. There's some nice trout biting right now. They're hitting jigs, and these are kind of suspended fish. They're hitting a little swim bait, a little Yamamoto swim bait, nice little speckled trout.
Bass Pro Shops presents Fishing with Roland Martin. Brought to you by Tracker Boats, fish the finest. Gary Yamamoto Custom Baits, designed by fishermen for fishermen. Timbuktu, Fisher's Choice, real bait ready when you are. And by Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. Closed caption provided by Spro Lures. Bass Pro Shops is a proud sponsor of Fishing with Roland Martin.
These guys are catching crabs. They're pulling these crab traps, and one thing that when you're trout fishing, wherever you find crab traps, you find slightly deeper water. And that's what that guy there is doing. He's pulling his crab traps, and all that line of crab traps right behind us is about 8 or 9 feet of water. Now we're anchored with the power pole in about 5 feet of water, and I'm kind of fishing the drop off. Okay, now what I'm fishing with on a cold day like today is happens to be a Yamamoto 4-inch swim bait. And that's a 3/8 ounce head. I got a little leader and some 20-pound diamond braid line. It's a little US reel. Now how I'm doing this is kind of funny because there's a lot of different ways to fish for trout. But one way that's working today is I take the swim bait and throw it way out there and just let it hit the water and just swim it. Just a straight retrieve. Just a straight retrieve, and it's been working pretty good. They're hammering it pretty good. See if I can't get another one. It's on a straight. Oh, there's one. He's got it, son. Yes, sir. Nice trout. That's a big one, boys. We're talking about big wintertime trout here. This is what it's all about. This is trout fishing, son. Big old giant trout. That's a gator trout here. Woo. Look at that one. Yes, sir. Not real big, but hey, it's plenty good enough. I guess a gator trout to me would be something over 20 inches. 20-inch trout is a pretty healthy trout. And that's not quite 20 inches, but it's still a good trout. And you know, trout are great to eat. If you fry them up, they don't freeze well. When you try to freeze trout fillets, they get kind of mushy. But I'd recommend that when you just do a fillet and fry them, they're excellent. Okay, boys. Nice, beautiful trout. Okay. Now, the beautiful thing about wintertime trout is sometimes they travel in schools. the big deal would be today is hopefully we found a school fish. What do you think? I don't know. Let's try it again. Let's try that cast and see if they're a school here. Now, I've covered this area pretty good, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to ease down this drop-off. I'm going to hit this power pole button just up a little bit, and I'm just going to hit the power pole up, let the power pole raise, coming up with the power pole, and I'm going to drift down this way a little bit. I'm going to drift down sun and down current, just maybe 100 yards or maybe 50 yards, and try another spot. I'll power pole down again. I got him. I went back and got him. Yep, I hit him. Yes, sir. Nice trout. Nice trout. I put the power pole down. Oh, he came right to it. Oh, yeah, look at that big trout. Guess what I have? I thought I had a big trout. I don't have a big trout. I got a redfish. Well, you know, a redfish, they're going to bite like a trout. Same kind of fish. They're in the shallow water. But anyway, that's a little what we call a little puppy drum. Little puppy drum. But I thought it was, and what I was doing, I was coming down the edge of this channel. I'm just throwing out in that shallow water and just dragging my bait along, and that redfish hit, and I put the power pole down, and so maybe there's some more redfish here. You know, this is an interesting area we're in. Let me explain where we are. You know, Plaquemines Parish is really the county or the parish that is the whole Mississippi River Delta. Now, there's also St. Bernard County, but it's just a small amount of the Delta. Most of the Mississippi Delta is Plaquemines Parish. Okay, the river comes down the center of Plaquemines Parish. Now, there's maybe 1/3 of the land and the water is on the east side of the Mississippi River, and probably a little bit more, almost half or more, is on the west side. Well, we were fishing the last couple days over in, say, the Venice area. Well, that's on the west side. Now we're fishing on the east side of the river. We're on a different area entirely, and there's hardly anybody here. This is the side of the river that has almost no population. In fact, out of 26,000 people that live in Plaquemines Parish, only 1,000 or so live on the seaside. But it's a nice area. And the beautiful, oh, here, I just had another strike. Okay, look at this. I thought I had one, and see, when they hit it like that, and they do that, see what it is? He got it, he hit it right in there. So I'm gonna throw it right back out there, see if I can't get that fish. Just swim it along, see what happens.
This segment of Fishing with Roland Martin is brought to you by Spike It. If fish don't like it, spike it. Mako Boats presents this segment of Fishing with Roland Martin.
Got up this morning, it was the coldest day of the year. Here it is, December, in the Plaquemines Parish on the Mississippi River Delta, and air temperature was like 40. And it dropped the water temperature considerably. Now you might ask why I'm wearing these frog togs. I mean, it's not raining, there hasn't been any raining days. But I'm telling you, it's the greatest thing for a cold winter day to break the wind. I have a nice big jacket on. I've got a big heavy duty jacket on. It's nice and warm. But it doesn't cut the wind like a rain jacket like this frog togs. That's what keeps me nice and warm. Yes, sir. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Cold front trout. Oh, yeah, nice one. Look at that guy. Yeah, he's nice. Now, here in Louisiana, the trout limit's quite liberal. Now, this is not a big trout. This is only about a 14 or 15-inch trout. But in Louisiana, you can keep them 12 inches long, and you keep 25 of them. Now, here's my way south measuring board, and he is almost 15, but not quite, 14 3/4. And in Florida, this would be would not be a keeper, but it is a keeper here in Louisiana. Let me just let it go real quick, and Okay. We got them. We got them. We're working. It's a cold front day. Nobody's much out fishing because they've all said, well, it's just too bad, too nasty. But there's one thing to say about a cold front. Trout bite on a cold front. It's natural. They come to the deeper creeks. Again, you got to find the warmest water, possibly the clearest water. This is the clearest water I've been able to find, and it is 3 or 4 degrees warmer. So there is a bite going on.
The cold front I'm fishing today has really changed the water conditions and the fishing.
What a difference a day makes. Now here it is Thanksgiving week, and when Judy and I got here to Plaquemines Parish just a couple days ago, the weather was great.
Boy, those giant bull reds were in the shallows, and we had a ball. In fact, Judy caught her biggest one ever, nearly 30 pounds.
Okay.
Oh, look at that size of him. Oh man, alive. Wow,
Yeah.
a bull red.
My biggest ever.
Judy, that is 28 pounds.
We both
Okay.
caught several other real monsters. We would chug the popping cork along a couple of feet, let it pause for several seconds, and the big bull reds would pull it down slow and
It's
steady.
unbelievable. Man, it's just gigantic.
I think he's bigger than mine.
Hey. Oh, how big is this one, Judy?
I don't know, he looks almost as big as mine, maybe close. Maybe bigger.
He is 25 and a half pounds.
Still got the winner.
The water was up 3 to 5 feet when the Roseau came. It was pretty clear, and the water temperature was in the mid-60s, just perfect conditions.
Right-hand side of that float. Go around the right-hand side. Go around the right side.
I'm
Right
trying, I'm
side.
trying, I'm trying, I'm
Right side,
trying.
right side.
I'm trying, I'm trying.
When we'd hook them, hey, they'd zoom off through the clumps of Roseau cane, running every which way. Even though we were using 50-pound braid and a 40-pound fluorocarbon leader, several big fish still broke off.
She's got another giant one on.
He's out there.
Just another giant one.
He's still in the open water. But I don't know how long he's going to stay out there.
It's just huge. It's really big. It's really big, folks. I'm telling you what.
He's going to pull us out in the open water.
That's a nice one. Look at the size of him, folks. That is a big, big redfish. Well over the 15-pound range. Probably 25 or 30 pounds. He's really nice. Look at that big guy. Another great big giant 20-plus pound redfish. He's big, 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 big. Might be bigger than that first one. I don't know. It's gigantic. Look at this guy. Oh, son. Oh, heavens. Let's see how big that one is.
That bull red fishing that I did with Judy just a couple days ago was fantastic. It was some really great action.
26 pounds. He's just a little bit smaller than the 28-pounder that you just caught.
But today's a different day. You know, today is water temperatures are 10, 15 degrees colder, dingier water, and so today's target fish is a speckled sea trout. Now, one of the rock-solid pattern for speckled sea trout is to fish around the flats, but fish the deeper water connected with the channels and the drop-offs around the big flats, and you'll catch fish.
Oh, there's one. I got one. Yes, sir, son. Okay. Another trout. Cold weather, cold front trout. You know, I love fishing to the point that I just hate not fishing when, you know, a cold front comes along and everybody says, well, that's just no sense in going fishing. Well, that's not the case. You know, this is still fun. I mean, these aren't the biggest trout in the world, but we figured out something. Figured out a way to catch them. You know, they're nice keeper size, eating size trout. The old yellowmouth, and I'm catching them on kind of a new technique. The swim bait is kind of a new technique. And what I was doing there was just throwing the swim bait out. In this case, I let it sink a little bit. And then I started to swim it. I lost my grub. The wind, well, I'm gonna blow that out of there. That's a good sharp Gamakatsu hook, and that's a 3/8 ounce ball head. It sticks in there really good. When you run it down there, try to get it centered, right in the center of that. Just as centered as you can get. And I think that's pretty centered. When you do it centered like that, it just swims a lot better. It really does a lot more with the swimming action.